Black cisgender heterosexual identified men are killing Black trans women. Black ones.
We are not talking about it in the church.
Those street guys are already engineers. If they're mixing drugs and stuff together, they're chemical engineers.
If you're just like, yeah, let's kill 50 cops just because, you know, that's only a fraction of the Black people that they killed. Wait, now you're talking about my wife.
For those of you who are joining in, we are talking about just the housing in the Black community and owning property, why it's important, and how to get yourself in there.
When I think of financial literacy, I just don't think of the classroom work. I think some of it is practical application.
I'm scared, especially, you know, calling them to arms, talking about poll workers or poll watchers. That is rooted in history of voter suppression and intimidation.
Joe Biden needs to make that a part of his educational platform.
Call that shit out.
I don't see much value in you speaking in tongues, and yet when you speak in English, you don't say nothing for my people.
Many of the reasons why we're dying is because of the conditions we live under that cause our health to be so bad, and that cause it's the food, it's the water, it's clean that shit up first.
When their fathers had prostate cancer, I had like a 150% chance of getting cancer, being diagnosed with cancer. I had a friend that did a raw vegan diet, 20 years remission, had thyroid cancer, never had surgery. I'm like, that's what I'm doing.
This week in Black People Shit, a Passions reunion. I'm your host, Christy Ferris. As many of you may know, I played the festy and slap-happy Simone Russell on the NBC daytime soap opera Passions. Well, today, I have the pleasure of having a mini reunion of sorts with my co-star, remarkable James Hyde, who played Entangled Sam Bennett, and incomparable Rodney Van Johnson, who played my TV daddy, TC Russell. As always, we have the lovely, talented, and North Carolina's own Janora McDuffie. Let me bring everybody in.
Hey, Bull City in the house.
Yeah.
Hey.
How's everybody doing?
Hey.
Okay, so how come I don't see James over there? All I see is his shirt.
Because he's trying to log in because he can't spell. So, you know, just press it. Yeah, allow.
Press anything.
Hilarious. Okay, this is why. So just so you guys know, for those of you who have joined,
we're used to having people doing this for us.
Yeah, you are absolutely right. So unfortunately, why we're a little bit jacked up is because they were late. They came in 2 seconds. 2 seconds. Now, you know y'all going to get an echo.
Wait. Can you hear?
Yeah, of course. But you know you're going to get an echo because you guys are next to each other.
What?
I'm not going to get an echo.
Okay, even though I hear an echo now. This is all of you guys who are Passion fans. This is what I had to deal with on set.
All right. I'm going to go over here. I'm going to go over here.
Okay. You see, this is what I had to deal with on set.
Right.
People are always late.
We're not saying any names, but it could be Rodney Van Johnson.
You know.
So do I sound good?
Yeah, you sound fine.
Forget sounding good. Do I look good?
You might need to wipe your camera. You got that haze going on, but that could be built-in soap opera lighting.
Yeah, I don't need that yet, but maybe in a couple of years we got to get that soft filter. Hold on. Is it better?
Yeah, I think it could just be because you're outside. Oh, that's better.
Oh,
now we can see those pretty eyes.
Oh,
okay, there we go.
That's the magic right there, James.
There you go.
Oh yeah.
Okay, here we are. Where did Rodney go?
I don't know. You're at his house and he just disappeared.
No, he's at my house.
Oh.
And he's been today we've been with each other all day, so we've been rehearsing our dance moves. And everything else. How's it going, girls?
Everything is wonderful.
You guys got the lighting looks so good on you guys, and us look like we're on the side of the road somewhere.
No, not at all. Not at all. Well, no, we really appreciate you coming on the show. Is he still trying to figure it out?
He is.
Oh, Rodney.
But more importantly, we want to thank you for having us on. you being a fellow Passionite is we're so proud of you, man. Anything that you do, we support, as you know, and we always will. And and kind of a universal thing for all of us that was on the show. So anything ever that you.
Well, it was a great moment for like 2 seconds. I was like,
was just about to get to
I know. I was like, oh, anything that and then he just disappeared on us.
Well, in the meantime,
there we are. What did you say? What did you say, James? You got cut off. So anything.
No, I said that anything that you do or pursue in the future, I think all of us are supportive of each other. But we're always supportive of you and what you do, and we always have an eye on you always. And you're very busy. We're all hustling. We got to in this business, because once you stop hustling, it's going to gobble you up.
Right.
So if you let it will. But if you're not, you get out there. We just hustle every day, and that's what we got to do.
So just so you know, that Janora is also an actress. She reoccurred on Grey's Anatomy and a whole bunch of wonderful stuff. So she understands this world just as much.
Right.
I do understand the world, but I cannot wait to dig a little deeper in this Passionite world. I am so excited to meet you, James, meet you, Rodney, whenever he pops back up on your pool.
Forget Rodney. I'm with you two beautiful women. I'm good. So,
did you plan this purposely, James?
I did. I sabotaged him, and Christy knows that that's just normal for me.
That is normal.
Rodney. You know what I'm saying? So, anyway, Rodney and I have been together all day today. I asked for his assistance with some stuff, and we just been hanging all day. His son is with my son. They're watching a game right now. So, I love the Rocket. I call him Rocket. I love Rocket. He's a fellow. Now, Chrissy, it goes back. So you are from Ohio, correct?
Yes, we are Ohioans.
I'm from Ohio. Rodney is from Cincinnati. Cincinnati is the way Rodney would say it.
We are Buckeyes in the house.
Rodney's going to detest that, because what he's going to say is the Bearcats, because he went to Cincinnati. Basically, the Buckeyes wouldn't give him a scholarship, so he had to go to that other school that's in Ohio.
Hilarious. So Rodney, right now, I think you're on mute. You need to unmute yourself.
And that's very untypical of Rodney to be mute.
He always got something to say.
So
he is still on mute. And let me see if I can unmute him.
It's so funny because he's in my office over there, because we use my office now to self-tape and do everything. So I know over there now. Wi-Fi. I know he's in.
Okay, so
it's terrible.
The what?
The Wi-Fi is terrible. So we have a couple people over here that have a.
Just come sit here.
I was going to put that on there, Gregory.
Just sit next to me.
The problem is that if he sits next to you, we are going to have
he said feedback.
Yeah.
Okay.
Listen. I'm just going to listen.
No. Okay, I got an idea. How about
only one device?
Yes.
Two of you, one
Turn
device.
yours off.
That's what I thought they were doing.
Come on.
Okay, so for everybody who's out there that is watching, I usually do a sound check and everything ahead of time, which I told them to come in like 30 minutes ahead. But did they listen to me? I'm texting them like 2 minutes prior, talking about where the heck y'all at? What?
Hold on, I'm trying to shut everything off.
Okay, well.
Shut the podcast for us. It's called technical difficulties.
Technical difficulties. Y'all not old enough to be having technical difficulties.
I realize.
All right, so let's
please-
just dive in. Let me dive into some of this. So some of the stuff that we got. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to talk about some hot topics. All right.
Okay.
What is trending right now? And I just want to get your opinion. We want to know what your thoughts are, especially coming from a male perspective. So the first thing that we will jump into is rapper Cardi B.
Yeah.
And Republican commentator Candace Owens. They got into a little Twitter feud.
They're best friends, right?
They're not even close. Yeah, they're definitely some best friends. And I think they just gonna keep feeding off of each other. So of course they had a Twitter feud because Cardi B had presidential candidate Joe Biden come on the show. They had a little conversation, and basically Candace told the world that she was illiterate and that she shouldn't be dealing in politics. So I'm curious to know what your thoughts are.
Well, one thing is, I think that we're in such a political, I don't even know what the word would be. I think that everybody at this moment has to be some way, shape, or form informed politically, whether you're a rapper or you're somebody who does some odd job. I think that everybody needs to be in tune with what's going on. This is probably the biggest election we're going to have in our lifetime. I think that everybody needs to. Cardi B, because she's a rapper, doesn't mean that she doesn't have her opinion.
Right.
And I think she's very real with the people, and you know, and why not? I mean. So I think that she has just as right as anybody else to voice her opinion and what's going on right now. It's a political hotbed moment, whether, you know, whatever your beliefs are. But you better believe right now this election is probably going to be one of the most important elections of our lifetime.
Okay, she didn't ask that question.
Okay, what's she asked?
But it is true.
Okay,
Go ahead.
I'm going to give my perspective on this, and it's my opinion. A lot of things that were said, there was a lot of truth to it. A lot of truth what Candace Owens said. I don't care what anybody say. There's a lot of truth to what she says in the way that we are portrayed and how we are as Black people. Period. It's true. I'm not going to sit here and try to dissect all the truth and battle with your people or battle with my people on what I said. I'm saying there's a lot of truth to it.
Mm-hmm.
But the way that she's going about it is the wrong way. I don't like that.
You're talking about Cardi B, or
no? I'm talking about Candace Owens.
Okay.
But she is definitely speaking a lot of truth that we really don't want to hear.
Mm-hmm.
The whole thing that she said about Biden hooking up with Cardi B is true. It's absolutely right. I mean, it's absolutely right on what she said. And the reason why I'm saying that, because I don't want to say too much. I want other people to listen to what Candace said and Cardi B, both of them, and listen as a neutral and not listen as whatever, but listen as neutral, because what they said were very, very important. And I don't like the way that Cardi B had to go into the gutter and say all the stuff that she says, because she's hurt, and she didn't have the educational advantages as Candace, but she made it, and she made it to the top, and she's doing well. And that's the American dream, period.
Right.
But what I don't like is how they have us fighting against each other, and it's terrible. It's really, really terrible.
So oh, go ahead.
No, so I sway more to what Candace said, because it's based in fact, and I understand Cardi B's position, because we are told to follow a certain demographic or a certain person because we're supposed to. I get all that. The connection because we need the votes. Bottom line, we need the votes. All right. But the person that we have trying to get our votes, that's not cool. Okay. All right.
So
because
let me add.
The message that she sends doesn't help us.
And one thing I think that Rodney said earlier, and I think that one of the things we all need to do is we need to listen. I think we need to listen more. We need to read more. We need to get out there and understand. We need to know where we're getting our information from, number one. Because if you read an article, it could be swayed liberal or right, left, whatever. So just understand where we're getting our information from. Listen. I think the most important thing we need to do right now is listen to
and let's stop interpreting.
Right. So let me ask you, Janora, what are your thoughts? Do you feel like that Joe Biden was pandering and using Cardi B, to get those votes?
My first thought is that Rodney and James not only look good over there in that square, but they are brilliant in bringing super important points that need to be brought boldly and unapologetically. Mm-hmm. Rodney, it took courage to be like, Candace Owens had some points, because we are such in a divided space that as soon as you just say something like you agree with Candace Owens on something, it's like, oh, Rodney, you used to be my favorite on Passions.
Yeah.
When you were right, she had some legitimate points. And James, you are so right. This is an election of a lifetime. And the reason I think Joe Biden brought Cardi B on there was for that reason, to get the votes. We need to get out the vote. And he probably brought Cardi B on there not to be a political pundit, but to bring the group of people who probably don't show up at the polls every 4 years. That's so true. If that's your goal, Joe Biden, mission accomplished. Candace Owens, you had legitimate points in your argument as well. I never like to see two Black women go at it in that way. I hate that we are continuing this divide, but let's continue to find that space where we could just talk about it. Say, a point for Cardi B, a point for Candace Owens. It doesn't have to be an either or.
And I like what you're saying. I think we've come to a point where it's whatever somebody says on this side, somebody else is going to listen to it on this side, and it's going to be a battle. And what we were saying earlier is, why don't we listen wholeheartedly to that point, address it, and let's all go back and forth with communication. Mm-hmm. And have to have communication, because right now there is no communication. It's almost like I've been married for 31 years, and they're like, hey, what's the secret of your marriage, right? The one thing I say is communication. You have to have it, because if you don't, the breakdown happens. So right now we are being divided and we're being split, and there's no communication at all.
Bottom line is this: neither one of the parties care where the votes come from. Right. They don't care where the votes come from. Okay. And if you're trying to win, and the way that politics is right now, and people are trying to win, and they're doing everything they can to win, they're going to play the dirtiest tricks as possible. So if Joe Biden has to go out and get a Cardi B who's bumping around about her pussy and whatever, and that's enough to get people to vote, then they vote. Same thing with Candace. They vote. They become active and proactive and make things happen. So I really don't care about the. I mean, I do care about the bickering that's going back and forth, because it does divide us. But the bottom line is this: it's all about a vote, and it's about how you vote, and it's about how you get it. And we have seen how politics has played some very, very nasty, unfair games, and that's how it is. So
yeah. So I'm gonna wrap that up real quick. My thing is that I feel like I remember when Bill Clinton went on Arsenio Hall, and it was the first time that I was getting the opportunity to vote. And I remember thinking, oh my God, he's so cool, because he went on, because I didn't know anything about politics then.
Didn't he play saxophone that night?
He played the saxophone, and it got me. So for me, I'm not mad at the situation that Joe Biden, had a conversation with Cardi B. And I also agree with Candace Owens. Like, why are we Democrats? Is it because our parents told us to be, that, or because the rest of the majority of the people are Democrats? I feel like we do need to start to do more research on why we are choosing what we're choosing. So Now that we wrap that up,
yes, I'm gonna add something real quick.
Mm-hmm.
I beg people, and this is what I've said from the beginning: don't be a stout Republican or Democrat. Me, I vote for who I think is the best candidate every 4 years. I'm not a Republican. I'm not a Democrat. I've never said I was. And I think it's important for people to kind of go, if you're a Republican and you end up with somebody who you don't believe in, but you're going to stay Republican, I don't understand that.
Vote the issue.
Vote exactly. Every 4 years, you got to throw everything out, start over, and vote for who you think is going to lead this country at the best way that we can move forward. The point is, we have to move forward. We have to get better. All of us, me as a human being, I have to do better.
Right.
We all have to do better, and that's the most important thing.
And I think what you said is so key, and I think that's what I've gotten out of this particular election is that I really want to make sure that I really pay attention to why I'm voting for who I'm voting for, and not just voting because of the majority. I want to move on to Chadwick Boseman. So since our last show, we got the heartbreaking news that Chadwick Boseman had passed from stage 3 colon cancer. And after a long 4-year fight, he succumbed to cancer on August 28th at his home in Los Angeles, California. He will be laid to rest in his hometown of Anderson, South Carolina. So for everybody, how do you think the passing of Chadwick will affect Hollywood and the Marvel universe?
Well, I think my personal opinion is he laid the groundwork for Black Panther was the most popular Marvel, I think it was. So I think he's done incredible work. And for me to wake up one day and hear the news that he had passed, total shock. I had no idea that he was suffering from anything, and I think he wanted it that way. He did a lot of movies before he passed, a lot of amazing movies. And what has he done? I mean, he's certainly laid the groundwork for African American actors moving forward to just take that torch and keep going with it. So, amazing actor. He's did some great work, and I was shocked. 2020 to me is one of those that if we could just hit the skip button and move on to 2021, but we can't. So we just gotta do what we can do to make it as best we can until January.
Right. What about go ahead, Rodney.
His speech that he did at Howard commencement was amazing. And as a man of color and an actor, the struggle is real. I mean, it is real. And to have somebody that young to validate it, and when I say that young to validate it, just goes to show it's still there. It's still prevalent. And that young man, I mean, it touched me so much about what he's done. And right now, I don't want to make this all about me, but
for once,
my son, my second son, I had colon cancer, and I got it removed in time, and I was able to do that before I was 50. So that touched me a lot. Like I said, we're honoring Chadwick. If we don't do anything more than today, is early checkup is so important. Colonoscopy, check. African American men before 50, do it. I had it at 44. So that's all I want to say, but we can.
So I know, but let me ask you, let me just jump on that. What made you go get checked? Was it because you had something that was happening, or was it just like, oh?
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. I had some blood that was coming out, and I didn't know what it was. And being me, was all cocky and strong, exactly. So I go to the doctor and I'm like, I got some blood coming out. He says, well, are you gay? I'm like, no. But he says, that's not normal. And I thought it was just because of pushing. Come to find out I had 2 polyps that they removed. They put them, then they tattooed them. And I had to go back every 4 years. But it's things like that you just don't even think that maybe when he told him there should be no blood in your stool, I thought it was okay to push hard and have something. Right. So that's been my my platform ever since I was found out, because if I'd have waited till I was 50, I wouldn't be here today.
Right. Before we jump to you, Janora, I just want to bring up some people who are on the page that I shared. So Tangerine said Chadwick will forever be an icon in our community. We have, let's see, well, Angela said 100, well said. I know that there's some other people that love that point about Clinton and Arsenio. So I just want to make sure that I get some of these. Oh, and Tangerine said, thank you for your candor, sir. And thank God you are okay, Rodney, one of our favorite people that always supports us. Even though passion ended years ago, which we're going to talk about soon, I love how you all keep in touch and support each other's career. Mm-hmm. So I want to make sure that I brought up those things. So for you, Janora, how do you feel?
I, again, want to first recognize Rodney. Like, that was something really personal that you shared, but you might have just saved somebody's life. And I mean that. So thank you for that. Yeah. You never know what people are going through. And also, you never know what your actions will do in turn to touch or to heal or to change somebody's life, whether it's Rodney being vulnerable and open about his journey, or the story about Denzel giving Chadwick the scholarship to do that program. Like, he never knew Chadwick Boseman was going to be the next Black Panther. Right. And going back to how much images mean, seeing a Black man, Chadwick, who brought to life the Black Panther and just the most amazing, powerful way, like that is imprinted not just in my 40-plus-year-old mind, but think about the kids. And and I know this doesn't seem like a big deal, but thinking about the white kids dressing up as Black Panther. Like, we've had our little Tyrones as Spider-Man for years, or Superman for years,
or but Superman, now, right?
Now Black Panther as a global transcending color. I mean, that's a world we want to live in. So for him to bring about that, you couldn't ask for more. Yep. Yeah. So I thought that was great. I thought it was great for ABC to recognize him in the way that they did, showing the commercial-free screening of Black Panther, followed by the tribute. So I'm happy that this is just not a Black thing, but this is a world thing, recognizing a man who came here and did his thing.
Yeah.
So I'll give a shout out to Tremaine, who did the voice for that commercial in the voiceover world. I just want to give a shout out to him. But as far as Chadwick, I was so heartbroken because I remember seeing him get an award. I want to say it was maybe the NAACP. I can't remember specifically, but and I just remember looking at him with such awe. And what hurt me the most was all the things that you guys said really played a part. But what brought me to tears was to see that this man posted a video on his page when he was looking sick because he had lost all of that weight. And all those people started calling him Crack Panther. And then he deleted it. So how awful is it that you want to share this information with people, but you can't? You know what I mean? And you're like, well, let me at least put myself out there because they asked me to support this organization. And then seeing all these people dog him and then take it down and then really get to a place where you are by yourself when you are dying. And it just killed me to think about what he could have been thinking about on that particular day. Here he is fighting for his life, and yet all these people are dogging him out. And that just, I cried. I boo-hooed for like a couple of days.
Unfortunately, social media right now is look, we have people who sit behind a computer, push buttons, and and they can say and feel and do whatever they want. And it's tragic that happens. Because I mean, this goes for that. Of course, it goes for, kids getting social bullied and everything. But it really is a travesty for that to happen. It really
Right.
is.
It's self-hate. That's
Right.
what it is. Bottom line. All right. It's self-hate that you have for yourself.
What's going on over there, Rodney? You all right? You all right?
We have one of our.
This is,
We have a beautiful thing that flies in my yard every
he's
day.
got
It's like
this
a
pet,
green.
his
That's,
pet something. Look at this.
wait a minute. Here.
I'm not playing with that guy.
How cute he is. Look.
See,
That is so funny.
Anyway.
Let's see. I know. I'm sorry. I know some of you guys are watching on the watch party.
no, but what I was saying is this is, you know, when I see things like that, when people say nasty things to other people, that's self-hate. Because
Right.
why would you say something about somebody? Because why would you hate that person you don't even know?
Yeah.
So for them to self do that, it's self-hate. It's how you feel about yourself. It's jealousy, it's self-hate. So you can never really appreciate anyone, if you're bringing somebody down because you have so much self-hate.
Mhm.
So when I see those posts and I hear that stuff, I'm like, you're a hater. I mean,
Right.
if anything, you should be like, congratulations, just a simple little thumbs up. But when you got to chime in and say these nasty things, that's deep. That's inside of you that comes out and you want to push it on somebody else.
Right. So with that being said, we're going to move on. I was going to try to get to the Dr. Dre thing because his wife wants $2 million
Check
a
this
month.
out.
But
Say it out real quick because Rodney's got a theory about this, and it's so true. Go
all
ahead.
right. So let's make it quick because I want to get to our passion side. So make it quick. Go ahead.
All right.
true.
She's going to already get a couple of $100 million, right? She's already get a couple $100
I
million.
mean, she did sign a prenup, so she might not get anything. But
She's gonna get some millions, okay? And if the lawyers say, hey, you're gonna get some millions, we know that. So in order for them not to procrastinate, we need to get some millions now. So if I'm gonna get 10 million in 10 months, why can't I get 2 million now? I mean 1 million now, 2 million now, up until those times. That's my
So
impression
he's
of it.
saying that the lawyer's going to put pressure on him, cut a deal quickly. You're not going to stretch this out over a year or whatever. We're going to jump on it now so I can get money now.
It's brilliant.
And then when we do cut a deal, then it's going to. So I think it's a really good idea.
So
Great
they're
tactic
gonna
on her part.
subtract the $2 million a month away from the
No,
big-
they're not.
Yes, they will.
She said, no, you're not.
This is what I had to deal with, y'all, on set. This is how they go back and forth. You should see my text messages.
Deal, you know you're gonna get at least 100 million, just based on let's just based on who you are. If you cheat and you got a whole lot of money, cheat is 50 million. Whole lot of money is 50. You got an empire, that's 50. So you got 150 million right now. All right.
All right. So just I'm gonna let you chime in real quick, Janora. But let me just say this so that you guys, if you guys don't know, Dr. Dre's wife, she estranged wife, she's seeking spousal support, and her laundry and cleaning is $135,000 a month. Education and living expenses is $600,000. Entertainment is $900,000 a month. Yeah. Charitable is $125,000. Mortgage is $100,000. Cell phone and emails are $20,000. Now I'm not sure about the cell phone and emails because I'm not quite sure.
She's single. She's out right now. She's single, so she's got to get out there and start posting and let everybody know what to do.
There you
with.
go. She need to be on Bumble. You're something.
That's it.
That's it. So what were you going to say, Janora, before we get to our passions reunion real quick?
Yeah, those numbers that she put out definitely seem slightly inflated.
Slightly. Right.
$2 million a month is a lot. But according to reports, over their almost 25 years of marriage, he amassed about $1 billion worth of net worth. So $2 million might be a drop in the bucket, especially if you feel like you are part of him making that. She said she helped him come up with the title, The Aftermath. So I don't know. But what I would hope, no matter how much she gets, and even as his star continues to rise, even if he takes a dip a little bit from having to pay off his ex-wife, I would love for her to be like Mackenzie Scott, Jeff Bezos' ex-wife, who gave all this money to beautiful charitable causes. Like, she can cut down how much she pays for the internet and give to.
Well, no, but she gives $125,000 a month to charity, so that's what she put in. That's in our budget.
Well, I need to see the receipt. I don't know. I don't know. People can spend their money any way they choose to, but I would love to see if she gonna ask for that much. No, and even him making that much, or just all as a community, just feel a sense of responsibility to give back in a way. Because after a while, you don't need $2 million a month.
So just for asking $2 million a month, just imagine the numbers that we were talking about. Billions. Because if she's asking for $2 million a month,
imagine how much. Yeah,
this man has got some deep pockets.
Yes.
You don't sell your
and she was living a certain lifestyle too, you know. And let me just say this. I just want to bring up that part of the reason why part of this law, and I remember reading about this a while ago, but part of this law came into effect because all of these women were housewives, staying at home, taking care of their kids, taking care of the family and all that. And then all of a sudden the husband will decide, I'm just going to break up with you. I'm going to get a divorce and I'm going to go get this other chick. And these women had no jobs, no skills, no nothing, because they've been at home taking care of their kids. And so that's why this law came into effect. Now, is it getting a little bit too much now? Or I don't know.
I think it all depends monetarily on the individual case. She's not going to ask for $2 million with some dude who's whatever. I mean, this dude's got some deep money. So it all depends on where everybody is at that moment. But you know what? I tip my hat off to her. Say, go for it.
I think it's a brilliant.
And like you said, if you've been home raising kids and that's what your responsibility was, and be somebody that was there for him all the time, hey, you know what? At the end of the day, if he wants to get a divorce or whatever, she needs to get paid.
Right. Okay, so go ahead, Janora. Looked like you were about to say something.
Oh no, I'm on the ride. I'm on the ride. Let's keep this train moving.
So let's get into this Passions reunion thing. Okay, so I came on Passions 3 years into the whole entire journey ride. I don't know if you guys know the story, but I tried so hard to audition for the show, and Jackie Brisky would not see me. I tried to audition for the character Whitney at the time. Look at these pictures. Look at these.
Wow.
Look at that.
Rodney hair.
Look at that sweater.
Yeah. So, but you guys came on in the very beginning. Talk about your experience of like the audition process that you guys had.
So when I was I read with Jackie in New York with Anna Marie Castora, right? Remember Anna Marie? She had a permanent frown. I love her to death, but she, was one of those, we walk in a room, right? And Jackie Brisky, I walked in New York. I walk in and she goes, "Hi, how are you?" I said, "Hey, Jackie, how are you?" She goes, you can do anything you want, just don't touch me. And I said, okay, wasn't really intending on ever giving you a big hug and a kiss. But anyway, that was my first intro. And then, because I read for my brother, Hank. That was my first read. I read for Hank first, and then they offered me Sam Bennett, the chief of police, and never solved the crime, but I was a good father and a good husband. So anyway, I came out here to LA to read. I was basing myself. I was doing a show in New York, As the World Turns. Then I was coming back. I was all over the place. But anyway, great thing in my life. It was Rodney and I were talking about it. When we went to Oxnard, finally I got the show. Oh, great story. Rodney and I had already booked the gig, right? And I was there reading for the new Graces. And I met Rodney.
Let me tell the story.
He's walked in the hallway. I'll go, "Yo, man, what's up, Rod?" And I go, "You play basketball?" I think we played basketball together, right? So Rodney walked away. "Listen, man, I got to learn my shit, bro. So just go in your own room and get the fuck out of my face." Sorry, I just dropped an F-bomb.
It's called
yeah, but yeah. So anyway, that's how I met Rodney. I had booked it already. He was still reading.
Let me give you the whole story. All right. So we're all, part of it's true. We all have our rooms. We're all waiting to go in and
no, it's all true, Rodney. I'm not lying.
Yeah, he already has it. The white boy already has this white privilege. So he's outside of the dressing room, literally, just like, I know I got this. He already had the part. And I come out, getting ready to go on. He's like, yo, bruh, do I know you? I was like, no, you don't know me. Did we play ball together? We played ball together before, did right, bro? I said, listen. I said, man, listen. I said, don't know you. I'm about to go in here and do my thing. Would you please just back up? Oh, it's like that, bro. It's like that. I said, this mother trying to get a job. Come out, get the job. And when I see him, we have this biggest laugh. And we've been the best buds ever since. And now we played best buds on the show.
So
his dressing room ended up being next to mine.
His was next to mine.
His was next to mine. I had a closer parking spot because that was the thing that we always went for. Is like, who got the closest park? So I made sure I got one closer than him.
Well, the person who had more soap experience.
And mine dressing room was closer to the stage door. Made sure, So those are the kind of things that we fought for.
White privilege. There was no preference. It was like, hey, you here, you in the front row.
Yeah. But anyway, it was one of those unbelievable experiences that we've had.
It was definitely, for me as being a man of color, it was great to have a whole family because we didn't have whole families there. We came in. Well, I'm saying all the things I auditioned for. You were just a guy. You were in and out. You didn't have a whole family. So when I had the opportunity to have a whole family and have a whole group of African Americans in my family and relationships and all that, it was great. So it was definitely a great choice.
Yeah, that's when we had our whole our Russell family, which was absolutely amazing. That's the one that's on my wall right now. Which is
so, Christy, you took down the poster that you had of me, and you okay, I get it. I get you. I saw. Okay, all right, I got. Okay.
We must briefly talk about the lovely Tracy Ross, who was my wife, and she was also the first Star Search. It was Star Search, right? Star
Search.
Yeah. So
she won the first. She was the first Black woman to win for the modeling department.
Yeah. She was. Can you imagine that? I was like this boy, and I was like, dude, Tracy Ross is my wife. She's my wife. So
well, and I don't know if you guys out there know, but I almost played your girlfriend on Young and the Restless when I had an audition. I had an audition for Young and the Restless, and I almost played your girlfriend on the show. I didn't get the part and went to Michelle Thomas, who passed away.
Rest in peace, Michelle.
Yeah. But luckily I became your daughter.
Yeah, that would have been interesting.
My third sugar.
Hey, honey. I mean, Dad.
I know. I think Janora has something she wanted to add.
Anything's possible, right?
Janora, did you have something that you want to say?
Oh, I always have something. Yeah. So I'm a soap opera fanatic, and I feel like I missed the train missing Passions. But leading up to the show, I was excited about meeting you guys. I'm always excited to know more about Christy. I have read some of that amazing quotes, including there hasn't been this sort of buzz about a soap opera since Luke and Laura Days on General Hospital. That is the compliment to the highest coming from a big soap fan. So I know that your fans went hard. Can you talk about the fandom involved and all of the love that went toward Passions in your 9-year run?
So the biggest moment for me when I realized that we had a hit, I was in the one of the things I'll never forget, Thanksgiving Day Parade at Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. We're on our own float. We're going down. There's like I don't know how many cheerleaders was off to our right. It was like thousands. Anyway, our float goes by and they erupted like it was like seeing a rock band, and that's when I knew that we had something. Look, I don't know if NBC and James Riley knew that they were going to spark this kind of a younger crowd that was going to tap in to our show, and I think that was done, and I think that's what was needed to be done, because daytime was dying. Time magazine did an article on NBC and the show, why would you ever do a show now when viewership is down? but I think that there was a new audience that was created with Passions, and we've got still some of the most loyal fans that are still out there today. We did a Zoom. Christy was part of this Zoom reunion. Last number, that was the second day. There's 15,000 going on how many people were still tuning in. Here's one thing I want to bring up, Christy, and this is something that's been brought up to me on social media, is Passion's been taken down from YouTube. And so everyone's asking me what is going on. My theory, this is not truth, I'm just giving a theory, is that the Peacock streaming platform is started. I believe that they've taken down Passions from YouTube and they're going to stream it on Peacock. Now, I'm not saying that's going to happen. I'm just saying that's my theory.
They need content. Everybody needs content.
Yeah,
So-
and I need a check.
But don't think you're gonna get a
you know
big
it.
check. So
I don't care what it is. I don't care if it's $5. I want a check.
Right.
yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we have to leverage that. So when and if it does happen, we have to get out there. All the cast members, we got to get out there, really, really support this thing, and personal appearances when we can get out there and blow the thing up if it does happen.
No, I think so. I think so too.
But real quick, so and then the show was known for the crazy storylines, and the one storyline that I cry like tears laughing is Rodney and I and a few other ones. We had this shield, right? My house is going into hell. Okay, the porthole in the closet was the porthole to hell. Okay.
Poltergeist.
So we go in with these shields, and there's this gargoyle thing blows fire. It rips our shields, and then we have almost this much left, like that much of the thing left, right? So we look at each other, and they're like, "Okay, guys, come on, let's go. We're gonna fight this thing." I mean, when I go back on those moments, remember there were late nights, 2 or 3 in the morning, and those are the days that I look back. I was crying. I had tears in my eyes, laughing so hard.
It was a job. It really was to be able to create something from the beginning, and the quirkiness that they did. We got a lot of trouble when we did our opening show was Princess Diana passing, and got a lot of pullback on that. But at the same time, it ignited us being different than anybody else by broadcasting something like that. And then we made fun of ourselves. We made fun of ourselves. We made fun of soap operas. That's probably why we never won Emmys, because we made fun of the industry. But we had fun doing it. And we have a lot of loyal fans.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's still people on here right now that are using Passions as their avatar on their thing that just showed up. And I remember the first. Oh my goodness. The first time that I came on the show, I remember getting hired on a Tuesday. I got 4 scripts Tuesday night, Wednesday, had to go in and do like a wardrobe fitting on Wednesday, came in on Thursday, and I had nothing but chunks of dialogue. And all I remember thinking, like, why is Kay jumping into fire in the closet? And I just remember thinking, oh my God. And that was the first time you guys had worked on a Saturday. Because I was like, oh, I'm going to have the weekend off. I can rest or whatever. Because I'm like, oh my God, all of this stuff. And I remember just thinking, what have I gotten myself into? So
it was a lot of work. And we were known for all of the, we had the tsunami, we had the porthole to hell, or the house being sucked into hell. We had all these big moments. And I think that the sci-fi, us having Timmy next door, and Juliet playing the witch, all of those elements, I think, were a little bit before its time.
It was.
And I still think it resonates today. So,
and a lot of shows spun off of what we did.
Yeah.
Well, we also spun off from the Dark Shadows, the soap opera and all that, the craziness. But we did it in a completely different way. We had $1 million budget a week. We had a weekly $1 million budget, they told us.
Wow.
And NBC really believed it. And the special effects that we had and the things that we did was crazy. Earthquakes, taking over 2 stages, full on water. You've seen it. I mean, the ships, We did some amazing stuff.
Yeah. We were blessed. And then unfortunately, I mean, I don't want to be Debbie the Downer here, but this year as well, as we've seen two of our producers, Richard Schilling and Lisa de Gazette, pass away. And it was just one of these years where, first of all, I was shocked about Lisa, and I was blown away that Richard had passed. And so it's been and
they were the best of friends.
Yeah, they were. Yeah,
they seemed like they went to college or something together. Like they worked together for a long period of time. It was. I got a chance to visit Richard when I went to New York City, because I was like, hey, I'm in New York. Where are you? You know, that type of thing. But when we saw him on the Zoom call, and then to see him pass a couple of months later was just kind of shocking. And I remember looking at one of his posts where it said, he posted to Lisa's page. And just so you guys know, and Janora, Lisa was the executive producer. Richard was another producer on the show. And so they were the ones that hired us. You know what I mean? Lisa was in the room with me when I had my audition. But he posted on there, I really could use you right now. And he posted that on Lisa's page after she had passed. Mm-hmm. And I think back like, wow, did he know he was sick then? Or, you know, because I don't know exactly what happened, but it was a little tragic.
The one thing that I noticed, and I look back on now, the Zoom, his hair, he was never that guy that let his hair grow out. Mm-hmm. His hair grew out kind of, you know, strangely. And then just by the way he was and some of the things that he was saying and some of his actions, I don't think that at that time, I don't think that he was well in a good space, put it that way. But anyway. I
think Janora has a question or two.
Yeah, like I said, I always got some stuff, and I'm so excited again to have you, James and Rodney, and now Christy, that you can be on that side and I can be on this side. In addition to the layer of the supernaturalness that your show brought, I also wanted to point out a couple other things. Kudos to Passions. Apparently in 2005, your show was the first to showcase two ladies in a love scene on a series. Who knew? Go ahead, Passions. You guys also had a very first, I believe, intersex or gender non-conforming character. Mm-hmm. Way before that was something. So how awesome, you guys.
Yeah, to us, it was just another day. But for everybody else, it was a big moment, you know, and because
do you remember which characters they were?
Well, it was first of all, the guy that played with Chad, Phil.
Yeah, Phil and Chad had something, and then my character out when I was off the show, she became a lesbian as well. I'm sure they waited until after I left, but I am curious to know who the two characters.
It was you and Ray.
Yeah, so it was the characters Simone and Ray.
She was my daughter too. That was Jane Doe.
Yeah,
Kathy Doe. I mean, no, Kathy Doe.
Kathy Doe. Yeah, they waited until I left. I guarantee you, they waited until I left.
You were missing out, Christy.
So just so you guys know that Janora, her partner, her wife is there. Well, she has a wife. There you go. So that's why she was like, yeah, Passion.
Yeah. No,
again, representation matters. Like, just like you said, Rodney, having a whole Black family and not just the Black dude who rolls into town. Like, that's awesome. And it makes a difference.
Yeah, the writers really touched everything. There was no off limits on anything. There was interracial, gay, and what's her face was had a thing going on. Norma, wasn't Norma?
Oh yeah,
Norma was not normal. So
yeah, that's true. That's true. She had something going on. Yeah. Yeah, she has something going on. And just so you guys know, I have grown because on Goliath, I do play a lesbian. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Yeah, Christy.
So I have grown because back then I was like, wait, what? She became what? So, but yes, they did have that. Go ahead, Janara. What else you got for us?
Well, I know we have some fans on the line, so I just wanted to ask a quick round of questions for your character. So, James, you played Sam. Apparently, you were in love with two women on the show, Ivy and Faith. Who did you love more?
Well, I think that what the storyline, because there was a book that was written, and I think that the book, the way they played the story was that Sam's eternal love was Ivy. And so I think that that's the way that we kind of ended the show, that was the woman that I fell in love with. And then I ran off and found Grace. We got married and whatever. But I think Sam's eternal true love was Ivy Crane.
Okay. And Rodney, as T.C. Russell, you had two daughters. Who did you love more, Simone or Whitney?
Uh-oh. Get Christy.
Simone, by the way, is Christy's character.
You know, I love them both equally.
No, you didn't. You love Whitney more.
Simone was my, I'm sorry, Whitney was my meal ticket, and Simone was going to spend the money. So, you know, I'm trying to get out of harmony. I got a daughter who can play tennis. I'm going to get out of harmony. That's all based off of Venus and Serena. So I would say that Whitney was my favorite because she's the meal ticket.
I am so I have you have just completely crushed me today.
And she stayed the whole 9 seasons. She didn't leave.
Oh, yeah, but look at her character. Look how they played her. I would have stayed too if they gave me some more lines. I would have stayed.
No,
but
I told you not to leave. You could have stayed, and then you could have had a lesbian lover.
Well, that's okay. I ended up getting Scrubs. That was more important to me.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Because one of the directors, Jim, he said to me, he said, you know, was it Jim? Yeah, Jim. He said, yeah, he said,
he said something like,
no, Peter. It was Peter.
Oh,
Peter.
Yeah.
Peter said, yeah, he said, you're too good for this show. And that was right before because I actually wanted to stay on the show. I was like, hey, you know, I would love to, but that whole last season, my 3rd year, they had to pay me the guarantee because I didn't work at all. They had to pay me like 70% of what they owed me because they did not work me at all.
Wow.
You know what I mean? At all. So that was the reason why I left, because I got tired of sitting around like twiddling my thumbs.
No, I get
you.
you.
Didn't have any? Yeah. Okay. All right.
I get you.
No.
I think all of us went through it. You know, when you're on a show and you're working all the time, and then you hit a moment where you're not in the front burner anymore. As you notice,
you
Lisa
on the back end of it too.
Lisa was always giving us these. Every year we'd have a meeting, like every 6 months, and they would give an outlook on the characters and what you're going to be doing. Well, after I think the 3rd year, right, she stopped doing it, and I didn't like that anymore because you had a little bit more insight of where you were going. Right. And when you stopped that, you had no idea, you know, am I going to be working a lot, a little, you know, whatever. And I think that that's very important for us, just so we know, like, hey, if I'm not going to be working, then let me go out and I was always the one that was like, hey, I want to go and do something else, like, you know, at least get a guest star on something, and keep it going, you know. And
I had a hard time; they wouldn't let me. And you know who else wanted me? You know who else wanted me was Will Smith and Jada Pinkett had a show called All of Us. And all these people kept calling me and said, hey, they're looking for you. They want you to play Jada. Like, so what's going on? But I was stuck on Passions, and then they let me go. Like after that whole entire thing, then Passions let me go. And I was like,
here's Soap Opera World's a catch-22. it's blessings that you're working, but also it's like, if you're not going to work me, let me go out and do other things. And those are the things that, look, it's a blessing to work. We all want to work, bottom line, but we also want to, we want to maximize our possibilities.
Right.
That's the best way that I could say it. We all want to maximize our of course I'm working, but if it's going to be something that is, and they're not going to let us out. I got out. They let me out one time for CSI, and the date shifted. They said, I'll never do it again.
Ooh.
I'll never do it again. Because the date, it wasn't anything we did. It was just the date shifted like 4 or 5 days. We're going to let you do it. We're never going to let you do it again.
I got out to do Girlfriends. I did 2 episodes there, and it was lucky that I was able to get out. There were 2 back-to-back weeks of shooting, so I got out to do that.
Yeah. I know we're gonna be wrapping up pretty soon because we're. I want you to ask.
I think this conversation is a great transition to where are they now? What are they doing now? So, Christy, you said you left and you did some Scrubs, and here we are in 2020. What's going on?
I mean, obviously, we have BPS, Black People Shit. We have that. Of course, I did Scrubs, and I do a lot of voiceover work. I reoccur on Goliath season 3. I have my other show, which is Monogamy, which we're going into our 3rd season. So I'm always going to constantly, y'all know I'm a hustler. I'm always finding some work. So
you have to. I just finished season 2 of a Netflix show called Monarcha. We shot up until COVID, and then blessings that we were able to go. I just came back. I was there for like 25 days. Finally finished it. I was under the COVID guidelines. I just finished a movie called Crazy, Rich, and Dangerous. And we have another project coming up in about 2 weeks. And like we said, I'm in the grind right now. I feel like a good movement for me at the moment, and I'm just going to continue to ride the train until we can't ride it anymore. But and we all should feel blessed every day that we walk on the set. I feel like I'm the luckiest man in the world.
How about you, Rodney?
Well, I haven't worked since I did a show last year called One Fine Christmas on OWN, and took some time. I've been developing products, so I have some products that are in some stores here in LA, and I'm looking to branch out nationwide. So that's been my main focus. But I actually got a call for an audition for tomorrow, which I'm going to take, and I think it's time to get back on the saddle and ride.
We need Rocket back.
I love it. So what's this?
I'll give him a big compliment. This guy, ever since I've known him, when he was on the show, I remember it was he was like, "Hey James, come over. I got to show you something." They had this this water purifier that Exxon was gonna Chevron, and then he moved on to he was on QVC. This guy's a hustler like no other, and I told him all the time, I believe in him. He's a great dude. I love him to death. And he's going to be, we're going to be remembering this because he's going to be super beyond successful.
Yeah, so I was going to ask Rodney. I just want to say, Rodney, what specifically is the product so that we can support you?
It's I think bring some this grass drinking straws. So grassdrinkingstraws.com. And before COVID hit, I'm still going after the market of plastic straw ban. So I import grass drinking straws from Vietnam. We're having them Erewhon here in Los Angeles, a couple other places. And I'm looking for national distribution. And I hope I'm going to get that next month. And when I do, it's to the moon.
Yes.
Rice teas all around.
Yeah. So I want to leave some generational wealth for my boys to take over. And then I'm going to really get back into acting. But we're going to make some things happen.
All right. So there is somebody, Don Carl Harper. So Don Harper, he said, I love working with you guys. He was on the show. I know he did a lot of the, when you guys were playing when you guys were probably putting out the fires and all that kind of stuff. So anyway.
What did he do?
I want to say he was one of the, Don, what did you do? I think you were I think he was one of the guys that was out there when either like the cop or the fireman or something like that. I know he did some stuff like that on the show.
John, the brother, right?
Yeah.
Hey, I know the brother. Yeah.
So
every chance I had, I would always make sure that my stunt man was there, whether I took a fall or not. I'm like, dude, you working today, okay?
I love it.
Do anything. I said, no, I really can't throw that punch. And then once he realized what I was doing, I said, man, as long as I'm here, you're going to be here. And if it's a stunt, I'm calling you.
I love it. I love it. We're just going to make sure everybody working.
Exactly.
Well, we always like to end with our BPS of the week. And our BPS of the week is somebody that we honor. It's usually somebody who is not a celebrity, but this particular time, we would love to honor Chadwick. So this week, BPS Person of the Week is an actor whose contribution to Black culture will forever be cemented in our history. Earlier in the show, we spoke about the impact that the passing of Chadwick had on us as actors, but beyond the fame and talent, he was a beacon of light to many in the Black community. His poise, grace, and humility made him a shining example for all of us to follow. In a time where Black lives are tossed to the side like useless debris, Chadwick showed us that beyond the slogan, Black lives really do matter, and that no matter your color, history, or circumstance, you can impact the world in a meaningful way, regardless of the amount of time God gives you. Chadwick once said that you have to cherish things in a different way when you know the clock is ticking. You are under pressure. And those words ring even louder now that we know the struggle he had to contend with. So from all of us here at BPS, Chadwick Boseman, you are our BPS Person of the Week. May your soul rest in eternal peace, and the love you had for humanity live on in those who love you. I am your host, Christy Ferris.
That was beautiful. That was really, really nice.
Thank you.
Very, very well worded. Very beautiful. That was gorgeous.
Thank you. We'll give our writer.
Let's give a tribute, man.
Yes.
My man.
Yes. So just so you guys know, please like, share with everybody. It's sometimes a little difficult to promote this because Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, they are flagging things that have to do with Black Lives Matter if we use those tags. And obviously, because my show has the word Black in it, it's not trending as much as it used to be prior to all of this stuff that is happening. So my other BPS show was very popular. This one is having a hard time getting traction, but all of you guys really love it. So please make sure you like and share. A big special thanks to Abdul Majid, who usually sits on the panel with us. He is our writer. So big props to the tribute that you just gave to Chadwick Boseman.
Very beautiful.
Yes, thank you, James Hyde and Rodney Van Johnson. You know how much I love you guys. You guys have always been so wonderful to me on the show and pre-show and, after the show. So thank you. And Janora, thank you for doing the interviews and just speaking with us and allowing us to chat back and forth. So thank you for being part of the show as well.
Yeah, have fun every week.
Yeah.
Thank
our
you
host, our other host.
We really appreciate it. And
Absolutely.
We support you no matter what. You know that. So, but you know what? The other thing I want to tell you is really, really good stuff. And you're doing such a great job. You really are. And thank you for having us. We really appreciate it.
Yes, Bear, I'm proud of you. You're doing very well as a talk show host and a producer, and I love it. So, you know where to get me, how to get a hold, and I'm always there for you.
I got you.
Thank you very much for your input, and you have such a beautiful light and energy.
Very beautiful.
I like it. I like when you get up into the camera and talk and speak your mind, and it's great. And
great team.
You guys are really, really good.
Thank you. And all of the fans that are out there, Tangerine, Gregory, you guys, our passion fans that were on here, Thank you for tuning in. We will see you guys next week. Janora, was there any last words that you want to give out real quick?
Yeah, love and light to the world.
Yay.
Go team.
I got one last thing to say.
Yes.
We have to be better. All of us have to be better. All of us. Every human being on this earth right now, we must be better. We must do better. And we can. And we will. And we're going to get through this. This election is going to be the biggest one we've ever had, but we're going to get through it. And we're going to be better people. Trust me on this. We got to go through some stuff, but all of us, we have to be better. And we will.
Yes. All right. Make sure you guys get out there and vote. The next couple of episodes, I'm sure, as we get into October and everything, are going to be about voting, the elections, and making sure you're making the right choice. So make sure you guys tune in. That is it. Good night, everybody. And yeah, we'll definitely see you guys next week.
Okay.
Thank you.